YouTube, what is happening? It is your boy Fly Guy Only Man back at it again with another video. Hope everybody out there is having a blessed one, a safe one. I promise on one you did. We got another video reaction for y'all, man. Make sure you hit that like button, rate, subscribe, all that good old stuff. Subscribe to the page. I think I said that twice. But nonetheless, though, we got a video reaction real quick. Shout out to Wings of Redemption. I think pretty much the whole internet knows Wings of Redemption when it comes to FPS shooters, genre, so on and so forth. He recently put out a video that I want to do a reaction to real quick, man, stating Battlefield 6 is going to bleed players. Now, I'm going to say this about when it comes to Wings, right? Shout out to him. I wish nothing but the best and success to him and stuff like that. I don't wish no downfall for anybody. That's just how I was raised. I don't wish bad on nobody. But a lot of people don't like him for his e-begging or whatever the case may be. That's your prerogative. I look at it like this. If you're a grown-ass individual and you want to give another grown-ass man money, hey, it is what it is, shall be it. I'm not going to tell another grown-ass person to do what they want to do with their money. You want to give it to him, give it to him. But he made a video talking about Battlefield, and I ain't gonna lie, every once in a while I'll sit there and watch Wings of Redemption or whatever the case may be, and sometimes he has some good valid points. So I wanted to see what type of valid points he has to say when it comes to Battlefield 6 is going to bleed players. Let's go ahead and check him out real quick, see what he's talking about.
Hello, everybody. How you guys doing today? Let's talk Battlefield 6.
Yeah.
As a whole.
Yeah.
Right. I have around 30 hours into the game at this point, and
damn, that's all you got is only 30 hours? Holy shit. That's crazy, man. You live stream to a bigger audience than me, and I got more hours in the game than you do. Holy shit.
And I want to say that this game is going to bleed player base badly. You'll never notice it. You'll never notice it because they fill people in with bots, right? So there's going to be bots that are always going to make the lobbies go up. So anytime you ever want to play the game, you'll be able to play the game. But unless this game changes drastically with the DLC or any kind of live service game, it's going to bleed player base. And
now, let me say this real quick. I kind of agree with him on that aspect a little bit. I played about a month or so before Battlefield 6 came out of 2042, just so I can get, introduced into the Battlefield franchise or whatnot. I know Battlefield 2042 is not the best depiction of a Battlefield game, but it was the most recent one, though. So you can't hate me for that, all right? So I played that for about a month. And a lot of those lobbies or whatnot, for the most part, had a lot of bots in there and stuff like that mixed in with real players. Now, also, with Battlefield 6 being out, this is pretty much like it's, going on its second week of being out. There has been times at night, because y'all know I pretty much stream at nighttime. There has been times at night where a game was starting and the game populated the lobby with bots. I got one game that I did where, because usually what ended up happening is that it will start the game off with bots, and then it will start bringing in real players and start evening out the teams like that. And then by the end of the game, it's just full of real players, right? I have seen that plenty of times on Battlefield 6. But it was a couple of times that I have seen also where it was only like 6 or 7 of us, real players, and everybody else was bots, and that stayed like that throughout the whole duration of the game. So I ain't gonna knock him on that one. He has a little valid point right there when it comes to that one.
And how can I say this, right? Like, who am I? Am I just a COD tourist?
Oh, that's a new one.
Know how to play
a COD tourist
shooters. I'll let you be the judge. Here's some of my stats from the last 3 or 4 Battlefields. Here's Battlefield 1. I'm only ranked 115 because I played a lot of the game before the level cap increase, but 3.21 KD. How about Battlefield 5? Battlefield 5, 3.01 KD, mainly in medic. I got how much time in the tank? I don't fucking know. I barely use the tanks blanket. Here's the current game, 3.07 KD. Always high score per minute, always on the objective. So, that being said, I know what I'm talking about when it comes to Battlefield in particular. I've played this series since the series came out. I'm almost always between 2.8 and 3.2 KD player. I'm always an objective player, and I play every class on the game.
Hey, since we're talking about KD and stuff like that, does it mean anything if I'm, you know what I'm saying, a 3.5 KD? Is that good or bad? You know, I've been hovering around, you know, a 3.7 to a 3.5 because the last couple of days, I ain't gonna lie, I've been sucking balls for the last couple of days playing Battlefield. But I've been hovering around a 3.7 and a 3.5 KD. Is that good or bad when it comes to the world of Battlefield? Because I know you can, you know, be revived and all that old stuff and whatever. So it seems like your KD kind of gets a little, you know, flooded because you can go a whole game and not die. It's very easy to do that, especially if you got teammates that know what they're doing. You will never die on the map. So does KD really mean anything when it comes to Battlefield? I always want to ask people that question. I know some people are going to say yes, some people are going to say no, but I always wanted to ask that question. Does it really mean anything in the world of Battlefield?
I can fly a helicopter, I can fly a plane, I can play a tank. And this game is designed for TikTok kids. And if you question my other FPS pedigree, I paid my house off playing Call of Duty. It is what it is, right? So this FPS is designed for the TikTok generation. And like, it's cool for what it is, but the initial maps on this game are horrendous. Let's not even talk about the bugs, right? Or where like people can hit like drones with sledgehammers and get on top of buildings,
right?
Because I've almost dubbed this the Operation Stand on Top of Building DLC for fucking Battlefield 4, because that's what it feels like. It feels like Battlefield 4 with a stand on top of a building DLC attached to it, right?
Damn,
like almost everywhere in these maps, you're going to have somebody that either is spawning or has access to the ability to stand on a building and snipe at you. Mm-hmm. Which, don't get me wrong, sniping is only part of the problem, but there's certain situations, especially like...
I ain't gonna lie, right now, with the current state of Battlefield, I honestly feel like snipers are overpowered. Definitely overpowered, super overpowered. The mobility, when you shoot at them, they get no flinch. Pretty much their weapons are pretty much a one-shot kill pretty much anywhere in the body for the most part. You got sniper sweet spot, you know what I'm saying? The lens flare or the scope flare, whatever you want to call that, for the enemy team or the opposing team is down there, not recognizable down there. You can barely see it. In the beta, it was a bright ass, you know what I'm saying, scope flare where you can see where the sniper is coming from. Now you can barely see it. It blends in with everything else because everything is washed out. Like, it blends in with everything else. So snipers are able to be more, you know, sneaky with their attacks and stuff like that, or where they're coming from or where their position is. Snipers are OP right now. Very OP. They definitely need to address snipers right now. Like, they are too OP right now.
The city maps, not so much the one that is going on in the background, but the other one. I think the other one's called Olympia, where like one side gets a helicopter and the other side doesn't. So one side is going to consistently have people standing on a rooftop, while the other side just has to contend with...
What the hell was that?
And you're like, oh, it's a sandbox, Wings. Have people on your team go and snipe them off the roof. The problem is like, once you get to the point where like the enemy team is so many snipers or so many tanks, like, you're going to lose the game, right? Like, the game is very fragile in its balance between what's competitive and what isn't competitive.
And that's one thing, because I'm glad that he brought up that point, because I've been, you know, questioning this to myself too as well. I really haven't really said it a lot on stream, but I've been questioning this though. I play a lot of attack and defend, right? That's the game mode that I kind of like. I play a lot of attack and defend. And some of the maps, the enemy team or the attacking team or whatever, they get a tank or two tanks, but the defending team don't get no tank. How does that work? Like, what comes up with that philosophy that one side gets a tank and the other side doesn't get a tank? And it's like that for a few maps where, you know, the attacking team, they get a tank, but the defending team don't get a tank. It's like, all right, that's not fair. I mean, as long as they keep that tank alive, it's just going to run right through us. It's like, I don't know. But like I said, somebody could please explain to me in the comment section. I will highly appreciate that. But how does that work, though?
And the fact is, the game relies too much on like people just sniping, right?
I don't like it.
There should be limits on it. There should be limits on every class. And this is something I've stated for a long time in Battlefield. there should only be like 4 bolt action rifles per lobby. Per lobby. I don't even give a shit about recon because recon isn't the sniper class, it's the recon class. You can put carbines on weapons, you can put submachine guns on them because like recon is designed for like the tugs and the motion sensors and the C4 and laser detonating targets and spotting targets for your team. There's a whole kit centered around that people don't use. But you know what people do use? Target finder, long range rifle, sitting in the back. It's abhorrent.
I definitely agree with that. We all know when it comes to Battlefield 6 penalize players for movement. We all know this. I know some people's going to try to rage bait and stuff like that, but let's be honest. How the mechanics working right now, and some of these mechanics are going to be changing in the future, but how they are right now in present day, they penalize you too much for being a player that's moving versus a player that's stationary. And who is stationary? A sniper. They're benefiting from everything that a person with an SMG, a person with an AR, a person with a LMG is getting penalized for. Because if we do all this movement to try to get to you, we're going to get penalized for it. While you just got to sit there and not have no flinch from me shooting at you, not have no lens flare, so I really can't see where you at. I can guess where it's coming from. And pick me off. Like he's for the most part, he's not really lying about that. He's not lying about that. From what I've been seeing, that makes a lot of valid sense right there. Get down in the comment section, let me know.
And like I said before, it's only part of the problem. The reason this game is going to bleed people is because of how chaotic it is. It gets to the point where it's anxiety ridden to play. There's never a situation that actually lives and breathes what Battlefield used to be about. And anybody that's played Battlefield for any length of time knows that Battlefield isn't so much the chaotic battles. That's a part of it. But like the proxy wars that you end up having. My greatest memories on Battlefield isn't like, oh, I got a 4-man on a C flag. It's, remember that time we took the C flag on Paracel Storm with motion sensors and silenced assault rifles and held it for the entire match? Because like there was like 1, maybe 2 squads that would keep wandering around to try to take the flag. That's the stuff I enjoy. But the fact is, with the maps being as small as they are and the way that the maps play, that you're almost always in an engagement at any similar time. Take this thing that you're seeing on screen for an example here. Like, I can't really pause it, but matter of fact, understand where I'm standing at. People can get above me, and they can get above me. They can jump on the windows on the side of me. They can come to the right of me. They can come from in front of me. They can blow the floor up and shoot at me. And there's like 7 ways to get to me. So like at no point am I ever in a situation where I can just control a PowerPoint. And that's pretty much first-person shooter design in a nutshell.
But I feel like, and I might be totally wrong, but I feel like that's the nature of Battlefield, and that's the nature that Battlefield has always been. Where if there's a sniper in that building and he's picking you off multiple times, all right, well, let me spawn back with an RPG or let me spawn back with something, C5 or something, and knock the building down. Get them up out of there. Knock it down. You know, I thought that was the nature of Battlefield and what made Battlefield so great, because wherever you're at, there's a way to get to you some form of fashion. You know, there's nowhere safe. It's not like, you know, a game like Call of Duty, you know, and that's the only thing I can really speak of, where a person can sit himself in a corner, put claymores and C4 or whatever at the, you know, the beginning of the door, and if you're able to get past the trip mine or whatever, I'm sitting in a position where you don't know where I'm at in that room. I still pick you up, but you can't knock this building down though. You feel what I'm saying? So I thought that was always the nature of the game, and that's what made it so great. But hey, like I said, get down in the comment section, let me know.
I've kind of seen this coming from like the PlayStation 3 era into the PlayStation 5 era, almost PlayStation 6. Like, maps have slowly become more and more goldfish, right? Let's take Call of Duty, for example. Back in the day, there were situations where there was like a window and a flight of stairs, and the window you couldn't even get to unless you only could shoot them through the window to actually get to people. So like a claymore and a shotgun would make it so like people had to get you out. They had to use flashbangs, stun grenades, smoke grenades, you know, all the things to do to try to get you out of a position. Nowadays, that same building has a staircase, a window you can mantle into, another door, and a backup staircase. There's a minimum of 4 ways into each building, and I feel like this is like the goldfish era of first person shooters, where it's like they're trying to appease everybody, so they're actually appeasing nobody. And a lot of people are just upset and they reminisce for like eras. And remember, I was talking about how people could come every way, shape, or form. My back is to my fucking headquarters right now. My back is to my headquarters, and I'm literally standing here waiting on people to jump down to try to flank just to keep keep my team safe. And I feel bad for doing it because I don't feel like I'm over there helping them trying to push the flag. I'm over here making sure they don't get flanked. But at the same time, it feels like I'm trying to pad my stats for my KD, which is not the actual point. My point is I want a successful push, but like, look, all my guys are dead, and if I know I go pick them up, I'm gonna get shot in the back from somebody jumping down from B, because this game is a chaotic fucking mess. You can never actually understand or grasp it.
Now, I would agree with him on that aspect because I find myself playing like that a lot when it comes to, because I play solo, right? It's not like I'm on here with friends or whatever. I play solo, right? So a lot of times I find myself in a situation where we're just getting bombarded by people coming from all different directions. And it's like, yeah, the team is running towards, the flag or whatever the case may be, but it's like they're not paying attention to their surroundings. One thing I'm really like noticing a lot when it comes to, and I really don't even want to use the concept of Battlefield players, but people that's playing Battlefield right now, because I don't know how it was in yesteryears, right? I only can speak on present day. One thing that I noticed very quickly, me being on Battlefield, a lot of people don't pay attention to the minimap. Like, they do not pay that minimap no attention at all. And I constantly see myself being in a situation where if I'm with the team or whatever, and I see one of my teammates or whatever run past a stairway or whatever, he just runs past and just totally oblivious. And then when I'm about to run past, because I'm thinking to myself that, okay, well, he ran past, so I must be good too as well, because he ran past. If there was the enemy there, he would have shot. Run past, there's the enemy there. It's like, what the fuck? Or it's been situations where I didn't see, my teammate, on one side, and he's, behind me or whatever, looking my direction or whatever. I go the other way because I'm like, all right, there's a teammate back there. I'm going to go the other direction. Get killed, shot in the back, turn around, look, teammate dead too as well. It's like, bro, what was you not paying attention over there? I done seen times where I'm in the hallway or whatever, I'm waiting to get revived or whatever, and my teammate is so focused on me, reviving me or whatever, that he completely, like, in a hallway, like, you ever been in a school hallway where you got one side of the hallway, people walking this way, and the other side of the hallway, people walking that way, but you're in the same hallway? The enemy and the teammate ran right past each other. The enemy happened to catch on quicker and turn around and shoot them. And it's like, bro, people do not pay attention to the minimap, or if not, they don't even have no sense of awareness of what's going on. It's like they're just blindly running. Truthfully, blindly running. And I ain't gonna lie, I catch myself a lot of times doing what he's doing right here, where I hold a strong point where I feel like a lot of people is gonna be pushing from, just to make sure that nobody runs up on my team. And just like what he said, it makes it look like, oh, you're just trying to get your KD up. Nah, not really. I just know that a lot of my teammates, they don't pay attention to the minimap. So if I die, they're not going to look at the minimap and see that, oh, somebody just died right there. Let me start paying attention over there. They're not looking at the minimap. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy, dog.
Let's take it a one step further, right? When you first started playing this game, how long did it take you before you actually were able to grasp the chaos of it, right? Like, you just got lost in the sauce, where it's like, this is one of the worst battlefields for that situation, because the maps are very, very small. Like, even Operation Firestorm has been, like, narrowed down by, like, 30%. Like, it used to play bigger, right? And the size of these maps and how the maps play and how chaotic the game is, and how the fact is that at any given time, let's say you want to run a tank, all right? So you jump in your tank, you got your Abrams tank, you're set up, and what's going to happen? You're in what I call the meat grinder right away. Not only is that you have to play that tank as passive as humanly possible to keep it alive, because you're going to deal with like 4 engineers, 3 other tanks and a helicopter within a minute of spawning the tank in.
Shit, not even.
It gets to the point where it's like, oh, this isn't even fun, right? You spend your whole time like trying to mitigate damage on the tank and never actually being able to utilize the tank in any kind of sincere way. That's why you end up seeing a lot of the tanks sitting either in the headquarters or on their home flag or trying to utilize Zoom to the best.
I wish I'll see that
like,
because
that's
every time
really
I'm in
only
the
way
game,
people
there's
stay
somebody always
alive
using a
with them.
tank.
You can't really push with them because as soon as you push and you get isolated at all, which I understand that's the whole concept. Oh, you don't want to isolate the tank. But as soon as you get isolated at all with the tank, you're fucked. You're just done. There's never a situation where you can take the tank as a squad and run around and actually take flags successfully. Because
Well, I think for the most part, and like I said, I could be completely wrong. I'm just going off of my personal opinion. I feel like that's a good mechanic just for the simple fact that, you know, even though it's a tank and it can put out a lot of damage, it's not overwhelming or overpowering the other team, if that makes sense. It's not like it's just one, device that's just going to slay the enemy team to oblivion. It's not overpowered. It's easy to take out. It's easy to take down. You just got to play smart, and that's it. Me personally, I think it's okay. When it comes to the size of the maps, though, y'all know me. I come from Call of Duty, so y'all already know how I feel about map size and stuff like that. But looking at it from a Call of Duty, well, not a Call of Duty, but a Battlefield perspective, from the previous Battlefields that I have played, when it's big maps and stuff like that, yeah, it's cool or whatever. But I think that smaller maps and instant gratification, that's starting to be the industry norm right now. It's just starting to be the industry norm now. All these games nowadays are making their maps smaller and stuff like that, or whatever the case may be. Why? Because people like that. Obviously, they're doing it because people like it. So, I know there's a lot of people that don't like it, but obviously there's a lot more people that likes the smallerness than people that likes the biggerness. Because if it was more people that like the biggerness, then the maps would have stayed the same or been bigger. That's how I look at it.
in 5 minutes of picking a tank out, you're going to run into 3 other tanks and at least 4 engineers. And that's strictly because of how the maps flow and how they want to create this chaos. And I don't understand this. I'm going to get off on a little tangent here. So I'm sorry you got to listen to my southern drawl longer than you'd actually like to.
Southern drawl.
But first-person shooters as a whole has gotten to this wanting to be controlled chaos shit. And I hate it. I hate it to the core of me. And it's not because I can't camp or I can't do well, right? I'm still good at the fucking games. You just gotta understand that you're going to take cheap deaths, and the reason they give these cheap deaths out is because they want players that don't want to play with a headset on, or don't want to buy a headset, and want to listen to music, or want to like have like their kids sitting on their lap and things like that, which puzzles me, right? It puzzles me because first off, you have skill-based matchmaking in the games. I'm not so sure Battlefield 6 has it at this point. Kind of feels like it does, but it has a server browser. So
I don't think it does.
I don't know, right? If it doesn't have skill-based matchmaking, it has one of the best lobby balancing like algorithms to the fucking known to man, right?
Yeah.
But Call of Duty has skill-based matchmaking for certain. 100% it has skill-based matchmaking. And so you already put me in the lobby with all the other sweats that are sliding on their booty, right? And then you take away my ability to like utilize things in the environment. There's no foliage, there's no footsteps, there's no like audio cues with like reloading. The explosions and everything are deafening, which understand is realistic, but like I hate the whole realism argument. Motherfucker, like in Battlefield 6, you can like jump out of a jet plane, snipe the other guy in the other jet, and jump into his jet and continue flying, or hit him in an RPG. Realism kind of goes out of the world. We're playing a game, and as a game, it should be a fair experience that has some sort of skill ceiling with it, right?
I'm glad he said it the way that he said. He couldn't say it no better than how he just said it. Like I said, man, I fucks with Wings. I don't agree with everything that he does, but sometimes when it comes to him just talking about a video game, I fucks with him as a person, But him just, talking about games and shit like that, he has a lot of valid points. Break down what he just said, though. Yes, Battlefield, just like any other game out there, first-person shooter, are definitely catering more towards the casual audience, people that's, like what he said, not wearing headphones, not really paying that much attention, kids crying, this and that, laying on the laps, all this old shit. People just picking up the game, playing on a big 75-inch TV, and getting cheap kills. What do you mean by cheap kills? Well, with all the destruction and shit like that, and RPGs and explosions, you can get cheap kills like that. Especially with the TTK being so fast. Bro, it is so easy to get cheap kills off of people, bro. Because the TTK is fast as shit. Like, there's no skill with a fast-ass TTK. If you shoot me first, you're going to kill me. Now, if it was a longer TTK and you actually got to sit there and aim at me as I'm strafing, then I might be able to, win the gunfight. But as soon as somebody sees you and they start, you're pretty much done with. You're done with. Yeah, it's definitely for those type of people.
Right. People that put in the time and effort and get good at a certain aspect should be rewarded for that aspect, right? People that are good at Monopoly, that are experienced in
Hey, man, it's 2025. There's no such thing as people being good at something. They should be rewarded. We live in an era where everybody has to be rewarded. Everybody's getting a participation trophy, all right? That's the era that we live in now.
Message.
Everybody gets a participation trophy. Everybody did good. Everybody's a winner. That's the era that we live in because you don't want to hurt nobody's feelings.
Monopoly, know what what properties to buy and what properties to mortgage and know what properties not to trade, right? You can get into stalemates because of this, but regardless, it's a game at the core of it. It's not supposed to be a realistic military sim, right? If it was a realistic military sim, you wouldn't have guys that could rival fucking NBA players and fucking 40-yard dashes with full military gear on and assault rifles. It is what it is with all that mess. I just see Battlefield 6 has turned that like Call of Duty no footstep mentality and turned it up to 1,000. Like everything is chaos. Like,
well, I don't know what he means by that. I can hear footsteps just fine in this game.
As you look right now on screen, there's at least two guys on C. There's two guys in the window up here. I got a guy coming up to my right. I don't even remember what happens here, but I guarantee you at some point I either get killed by the window or I get killed by somebody coming from that dump truck. And the reason is because I have two teammates that seem to be there, and like sometimes teammates' reaction times just don't work. Let's see how it.
Not only reaction time don't work, but like I keep on saying, I have noticed this a lot. A lot of players that's playing Battlefield right now, they don't pay attention to the minimap, bro. They don't pay it no attention.
Plays out. But digressing, how can they do to fix this? I think they're already trying to fix some of it, right? Like they're making the XP for the first 20 levels of weapons faster.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I've already unlocked everything. I'm level 52, I think, at the time of playing this game.
Damn!
And I don't have suppressors on like 90% of the guns. Like if they don't come with a suppressor, I think I've earned or unlocked maybe 4 weapons that actually had a suppressor completely. And the reason this is a big deal for me is because like every time you shoot your gun, you appear as a big orange dot on the map, and how far you appear as an orange dot depends on what you have, right? If you have a flash hider, your orange dot isn't as far away, which is almost meaningless since the maps are about as small as some people's gaming rooms. But as a whole, like I feel like suppressor matters a lot.
No, definitely. You're pretty much stupid if you're not running around with some type of suppressor on these guns. Run around with a suppressor, do not show up on the minimap. I mean, already these folks don't pay attention to the minimap, so it really doesn't matter. But just to be on the safe side, a person like me or somebody else that actually pays attention to the minimap, yeah, you definitely want to be running around with a suppressor.
In this game, mainly because like there is very few levels of stealth, but if you can actually utilize the stealth, you'll notice that everything is designed to have like chest high barriers everywhere you go, which is a problem in itself, right?
A lot of head glitches.
Like, let's take a look at like Operation Firestorm now versus Operation Firestorm from Battlefield 3. Here's Operation Firestorm right now. You can see, look, if you notice on the overlay itself, which I'm going to show another picture of it, but you see the bright red blue stuff in the back there, the bright red. They've literally cut down 49% of the map that you didn't have access to before, right? And that map is they basically took the headquarters and they pushed them up, and they've actually moved all the flags a little closer in on one another.
So I see what he's talking about. So I'm assuming back in the day, all this, like prior to like this point right here, all of this, and all of this was playable turf. But now, you know, their home base is like half of the map, and their home base is like half of the map, and now you just got this right here. I see what he's talking about.
And it's fucking odd, the choosing of this. Like, look at it right here. All right, here's an overlay of Operation Firestorm with it, and you'll notice that like all the flags have been moved closer to each other. Look where C is.
Wow, I see what he's talking about.
B's been moved down. D's been moved over. E's been moved over. Everything is kind of got scrunched, and they basically extended the headquarters almost to the point of combat field, right? And then they changed where the vehicles spawn at. So they've eliminated effectively almost half the fucking map to make that Operation Firestorm feel smaller, right? But then they give people all this shit they can just sit on top of, right? Anybody that's played Operation Firestorm knows how it plays. Matter of fact, let's just go ahead and cut it off and show you.
That map is garbage. Oh my gosh, bro! Everybody's just sitting on top of something, just sniping.
So here's going to be a little bit of gameplay from a game where we're just dominating, because like you get into these lobbies, especially Operation Firestorm, where people just want to sit back and snipe, and nothing happens. You can't move. So like this is what you're going to find a large portion of your game playing like. So I'm sitting here. I'm engineer. I can't really push forward on C's most part. Our tanks are sitting back because that's the only way that they can actually stay alive, is if they sit back into the bulk of the horde. So I'm like 7-1. It's currently fucking 600 tickets to 286 tickets. But like now we got to make our move. So now we got to start utilizing cover and the crouch run and everything like that. So like we're crouch running along the rocks, and we have to do this because guess what? There's going to be snipers to the left. There's going to be snipers on the building. There's one right there. I peeked out.
There's another map. I don't know the name of it, but there's another map on Battlefield 6. And I think it's an older map or whatever. It's that one map. I think it's like a Battlefield 1 or 5 map. But it's that one map where... it's hard to describe. It's like the attacking team is coming from a direction where there's no cover. Like there's no buildings or nothing like that. There's like an open field. And it's like a knockdown crane I think there's like a knockdown crane that's somewhat in the middle. But for the most part though, the attacking team has no cover. And the defending team, they have all the buildings, all the houses and stuff like that utilize cover and stuff like that. So unbalanced, bro. Like every time that map gets pulled up, if I'm on the attacking team, I instantly bag out. I have not yet seen anybody win on the attacking team on that map. I wish I could remember the name of that map, but I have not yet seen nobody win as an attacking member on that map. In my lobbies, watching people live stream the game, I've never seen nobody win that map or win that game if there was an attacking team. It's always the defending team because they got all the cover. And the attacking team has no cover. It's nothing but open fields and like mortar, divots in the ground and stuff like that. That's it. That's all the cover that you really get. And it's crazy.
Trying to get rid of him. Trying to discover like when can I move up to try to take the flag. So let's do this. So we're moving up. And I have to play this way because if I don't, if I try to just like
you're getting sniped.
Big dick it and run down the middle, I'm getting sniped at my chest 16 times. Or there's going to be somebody that just spawned into headquarters and there's a tank when like a bad breath distance away from the C flag. All right, so like I'm getting here, I'm laying down. So like you see, we got 9 people that's in the vicinity of this flag. If you look at the mini map itself,
This map is terrible
So
too.
the only thing I can do at this point is just sit here and be a nuisance. Like if I could go out there and I could ramble, and that's what the game wants me to do. It wants me to
Right, but it's not going to reward you.
about how many times I die or how many
No.
tickets that I utilize or burn. It wants me to just constantly be in the chaos. But like this is how the maps play. If you ever care about actively winning, or actively caring about what your stats look like, or actively caring about playing Battlefield.
I agree with him.
Battlefield.
You got to play it like that.
Slowly but surely. Look, like this guy right here. You're losing by 400 tickets, bud. What are you doing up there? Why are you up there? And that's never going to change, right? There's a guy bringing a tank in three feet from the fucking sea flag because that's where their headquarters is. And you're never going to change those people because some people just play the game because they want to dick around.
Mm-hmm.
And those people get hurt too with this way this game plays because like, how can you ever dick around? How can you take time to put C4 on a truck and like drive it anywhere? Because anytime you touch the battlefield, it's going to be one of these situations where you're driving towards 3 Abrams tanks, or you're going to have like 15 dudes on a building and nobody actually in the tanks. I don't know. It's strange. Another thing, I don't know this for certain, but I feel like 3 C4 can't even kill a tank. There's been multiple times I've stuck 3 C4 on the side of a tank, and it took like 70 or 80% of its health. Maybe.
Me personally, I don't know about that one. The few little videos I've seen of people throwing C5 or C4, whatever it is, onto a tank, it seemed like it destroyed it to me, but I don't know. Maybe you see something differently, though.
You can kill a light tank, but like an Abrams tank, definitely can't. I feel like it definitely can't do it.
Okay, maybe.
I remember it used to take like.
All right, so maybe that makes more sense. Maybe the ones that I have seen get blown up was one of them smaller tanks. Then, all right, so that makes sense.
1 C4 in Battlefield 2 Modern Combat to actually do it, and that's kind of bringing it back. But like, I don't know, and like C4 is trapped behind these challenges. Let's talk about the fucking challenges.
Oh man,
here, right? There's a challenge I'm trying to do right now. That is, get 30 kills while on an objective. Who makes these things?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Me personally, I can really give two else about the challenges, but I have skimmed through the challenges. Yeah, some of them are just, it's like somebody was mad that day when they made these challenges, bro. Because some of them was just, you're not going to get that. And I feel like a good game, this is what I feel like, right? A good game is when you can unlock challenges just naturally. Like, you don't have to keep on looking at them like, oh my gosh, I got to do this. I got to keep on doing it. It just, over time, if you just play the game, it'll just come naturally. That's how I feel like all challenges should be. Honestly, that's how all challenges should be, in my opinion. But when it comes to this game, though, bro, you got to do stupid shit to get these challenges. And if you care about your stats, I don't know why anybody does, but a lot of people does, though. If you care anything about your stats, yeah, bro, some of these challenges, bro, you're just going to tank your stats, bro. You're just going to tank them. It has to happen if you want to get some of these challenges done.
They don't even count right. Like half the time you get like there's this one challenge where it wants you to revive 15 people in one life. Really? In a game this chaotic, you want me to revive 15 people in one life?
Crazy.
I mean, I could probably do it. But I would like to like flatter myself and think I'm in the top 5% of all Battlefield players in the world. And I look at some of these challenges and I'm like, who did they design these things for?
Yeah, they're stupid. Stupid.
Like, really? And like, what do you get for this? Like the one that killed 30 people in the objective? You know what you get? You get a slightly different colored like sand tunic on like your engineer. Something you never even fucking use. I don't understand it.
Right. You're doing all that. I'm glad that he just said that. You're doing all that just to get nothing. Just to get nothing. Exactly. You couldn't say it no better than how you just said it, Wings. You're doing all that stuff for that one challenge just to get nothing. Some sand dune on, man, nobody care about that shit. Nothing cool. You don't get nothing cool or amazing after you just sat there and did all that stupid ass monkey patting your head and rubbing your stomach ass shit.
This game has a lot of potential. It's a game that I enjoy playing from time to time. But it's a game that I feel is going to lose the vast majority of its player base quickly. People want to be touting numbers like Battlefield made this much money and Battlefield made that much money. it is a game that has a lot of promise, but I think it's more riding the coattails of like, hey, Battlefield sucked. 2042 sucked. Everybody will agree with that, right? People were upset that Battlefield 5 wasn't as good as Battlefield 1. I disagree. I liked Battlefield 5. But Battlefield 1 was a revolutionary game. Like, it was easily the best Battlefield game they had ever made. And it set the bar for every other Battlefield going forward, and they failed that so hard trying to make money, right? Because, like, 2042 was obviously, like, this Battle Royale game that they shoehorned back into being a mainline Battlefield series. Battlefield 5 was a updated version of Battlefield 1, and it did everything a little bit better, but it was more of the same. And I think people were kind of tired of more of the same. They wanted modern combat. And this was supposed to be that Battlefield 1, Battlefield 5 modern combat game. But they tuned it down to the goldfish generation. Where, like, if they don't have something to interact with every 4 seconds, that they're going to lose interest and like tune out.
I mean, I feel him on that, and I feel his pain. I feel his pain on that. But I mean, it's fucked up to say it, but it's the truth though. That's society nowadays. That is society nowadays. We got to start to realize that as much as we don't like it, I don't like it. The whole TikTok type of mindset. If somebody's not like what he said, somebody's not interacting with something for longer than 5 seconds, you just lose interest. But that's the world that we live in. Everybody acts like that. Yes, there's a lot of people out there that says, no, man, I can't stand it. But the voices of people that do like it are a lot louder than the people voices that don't like it. That's just how it is.
Message.
Because the reason why it's like that, and you know that it is like that because those are the ones that are the casual players. They're the ones that they need something to interact with. Because I'm going to tell you right now, when it comes to the casual player audience, the one audience that you can never make happy, once the next new shiny toy comes out, they're all going to migrate to that and play on that. That is the definition of the casual audience. You can never keep them. You try to keep them, but you can never keep them. They're on to the next shiny toy.
And I feel like it's a good game, but it's a bad Battlefield game. And I'm probably the only person out there that's not singing the praises of this game right now. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy playing it from time to time, and I've put a lot of time into it recently. But like because I've put so much time into it, the flaws of the game itself
are starting to show.
Really, really shine through.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section.
And yeah, I mean, like I said, I respect Wing's opinion on that. I think he took a nice take on that. I enjoyed the game. Me personally, I enjoyed the game. But like I said, though, and I think other people are starting to say it too as well. But, you know, you still going to have those naysayers out there that say that the game is perfect. There's still a lot of issues and a lot of things that they need to address. Luckily that they are addressing and they are actively fixing some of these issues as we speak. But, yeah, I mean, hey. It's 2025, man. Y'all know how these games are made nowadays, man. So it shouldn't be no surprise and no secret. But definitely, man, shout out to Wings, man, for that right there, man. That was a good take, man. I want y'all to get down in the comment section. Let me know how y'all feel about that, man. Make sure you rate, subscribe, comment, all that good old stuff, man. Follow me on all social media platforms. I go live every single day on Twitch and YouTube. Fly Guy Only 773 across the net. I will pop up. You feel me? But other than that, though, peace, love, and blessings, positivity. And I'm going to holler at y'all bigger the fools the next one. Gone.